we will be looking at online relocation of a pluggable database. So in this lower window I have the alert log being displayed. You can see that the pluggable database is open, new PDB. Let me go to the upper window where I'll execute the commands. First I'll start a loop job that will create transactions so that we will see archive logs being created as well. Okay, so now that the loop job started, we will shortly see the Oracle switching to new redo logs and generating new archive logs. So let me go into RMAN. This is the pluggable database that I am going to copy, new PDB. Okay. The pluggable database currently is in U04. I am copying it from U04 to U06, and a copy is made as a backup as copy. That is, every data file is copied as it is. They are not merged into backup sets as you would have with a default backup, which is using backup sets. This is backup as copy. Every data file will have a byte for byte copy in the new location. So while transactions are running, you can see transactions are running here, archive logs are being created. I am doing a copy of the database from U04. The copy will be going to U06. Since I have only one RMAN channel open, it will copy files sequentially, one file at a time. But Oracle will never guarantee that the files are copied in order of file ID. It will take any file first, any file second, and so on. So here in this case it took file number 18, the undo table space first. Remember, file numbers are across the whole CDB. So file number 18 is in the CDB while it is only one file in this PDB. This pluggable database new PDB has only 5 files. So 16, 17, 18, maybe 15, maybe 19. Those are the data files in this pluggable database. So these are the 5 files which is copied from U04 to U06. You can see here every data file has been copied from U04 to U06, and while the copy has been running, archive logs have been generated. My transactions are actually running against this database itself, and since I did a backup of a pluggable database, there is a control file, sp file auto backup, generated automatically. Now that I have copied the data file to a new location, I have to switch my active database to the new location. Now for this switch purpose, I will have a short window for downtime. I will have to switch, and then I will apply any archive logs which are for transactions generated for the short window to the new location. So I will first close the pluggable database. So you can see the pluggable database is closed. So since there were active transactions, it took a bit of time to close the pluggable database. Then I will say switch pluggable database copy. That is the new location of the pluggable database. From U04, I am switching to all the data files in U06. Oops, sorry, typo. Pluggable database. Okay, so you can see it has switched the data file activity now to U06. All the active data files are in U06. Since there was transactions, I might have to recover some transactions from the archive log. So that's what I will do here. So the recovery does a media recovery from any archive logs or any online redo logs as necessary. In this case it was fast enough. All the transactions that were required to be applied were actually in the 3 redo log files. It did not even have to go back to an archive log. If there were a larger volume of transactions and a more frequent switch, then it may have had to go back to archive logs for sequence number 55, 54 and so on. If there was very little activity, maybe it would have required only 1 redo log. So the volume of activity determines how much recovery is required. Here the volume of activity required recovery of 3 redo logs. More activity would have required even the archive logs to be applied. So now I can open the Pluggable database. So this was an online relocation of a Pluggable database from U04 to U06 using rman. All the commands are executed from rman. I first started with this command, backup as copy, Pluggable database, the name and the format for the new location. So for each data file it copied from U04. Every data file was copied from U04 to U06. Then once all the data files were copied, with a single channel it copied files sequentially. If I had used multiple channels, it would have copied files in parallel. Then I closed the database for a while. While the copy was running, transactions were happening in the archive logs and in the online redo log files. Then I switched to the new location. I say switch Pluggable database to copy. So the latest location of that database is now U06. And then I just did a recover. The recover needed to recover transactions only from the online redo log files. Once I did the recovery over here, I was able to open the Pluggable database. You can see the transactions are still happening in the database because the background job is still running. But this is how I was able to do an online relocation of a PDB in 12.2. So that's the background job which is running SQL plus commands. I've just killed it now. So this was online relocation of a PDB using rman. Altered Pluggable database, open at the end, alter Pluggable database, close for a short while, recover Pluggable database in between. And the command to copy the data files was backup as copy Pluggable database, format to the new location. Quick review: backup as copy, format new location, and then I closed the Pluggable database. Then I switched the Pluggable database to the new location from U04 to U06. Then I did recovery. Now the advantage of this method is it is a much shorter downtime. Say these data files were 100 gigabytes, and if I did an offline copy, the database would be closed while the 100 gigabytes were being copied. Now with an online copy, the database is closed only for the duration of the switch, which is just a few seconds, and the recover. The recover might be just a few gigabytes of redo logs to be applied. So the online copy has a very short downtime window. Once the recover is done from the archive logs or online redo logs, I can open the Pluggable database at the new location.